What's up, YouTube? You checking out the Frequent Flyer. If you're returning, welcome back. About to talk about this thing a little bit. This is actually a quick review of the SPC maker, but I do have some flight footage. Guess what, guys? It didn't fly out of box. I know you guys know what time it is with this one, but surprisingly, I was able to get this thing to fly. And all I did was soft mount the motors with these soft mounts that I got from Amazon. I just happened to have these, and I thought, well, first of all the other reviewers that I've seen reviewing this thing, it just didn't fly. It was sputtering around on the table and all, sometimes even without the prop guards. And I just expected this not to fly. So I was actually tempted to not even do a review on this, to just show you guys that it didn't fly and just swap out the parts on another frame or something. Just use the parts, because some really nice components came in this thing. For one, it has a micro swift there, and it has 28 amp ESCs on it, 4-in-1. Just all around really nice components on it. And so I was just looking forward to dropping it on another frame, and I was just gonna rock out like that with it. But you guys know I always like to tinker, so I just thought I'd tinker with this thing, and I just so happened to have these soft mount motors come in, well, motor soft mounts to come in, and so I tried them, and surprisingly this thing was flying really nice. I just had to do a little tuning, and there was, all the vibrations were gone, and this thing was flying pretty nice. I had it flying nice on 2S and 3S until of course something had to happen. I was flying this thing. I actually have video of it, and all of a sudden the battery voltage dropped on the battery. The batteries suck, but the batteries are actually quite peppy when you first start flying with them. Like on full charge, those batteries give a nice decent amount of thrust and all to this thing. This thing was punching out really nice, and it was flying really nice until the battery voltage just dropped all of a sudden near the end of the flight. I wasn't even that far in. I didn't realize that I was only going to have such a short flight time with that 3S battery, and the battery just died on me mid-flight, and it came crashing down, and one of the motors completely came off. I guess the soft mounting makes the screws not really be in there too tight. So when I landed, all of my screws, I didn't use any Loctite. I should have used some Loctite on the motor screws when mounting the motors, even soft mounting them. But I guess I was just looking for a quick fix, and I didn't use any Loctite on it. And when it landed, one of the motors came completely off. It was this one here, and all the motor screws were out, gone. As you can see, I got a little bit of damage to the bell of the motor there. But ever since then, this thing just doesn't fly well anymore. Even with the soft mounting. I don't know if I just got lucky or something. Maybe everything was moved around just right, because I did start to dismantle this thing. I took the top off, and as you can see, I only put two of the, there was some standoffs. There's 4 tiny standoffs that go on the very top stack there, which is the VTX there, and I only put 2 back on. I only replaced the 2, but I did take this thing apart. I took the top off. I took those standoffs off on the top. I took the VTX off. I was removing components one at a time to see what was causing the vibration to get back to the flight controller. So I removed everything. I even removed the camera, and I was still getting vibrations. And so what I did was soft mount the motors next. And once I soft mounted the motors, it was flying really smooth then, but I didn't have the run cam swift on there, the micro, and I didn't have the VTX or the top on it. So I next started replacing all of the parts, the components that I removed. I was putting them back on one by one, and I got all the way to putting this thing back together, and it was still flying smooth. So I was guessing that it was the soft mount for the motors that did it, and it was just flying really smooth. No more jitters or sputtering around. It was just flying really nice, and this thing had a whole lot of power. Especially with 3S, this thing was rocketing into the sky when I was doing punch outs with it, and it was just flying really nice. As you are going to be able to see in the FPV footage that I have, it was flying really smooth, no vibration. You can see from the video feed that there was hardly any vibration at all. The video feed was nice and clean. The screen was totally covered with OSD information, but you can see, I was thinking that maybe I didn't tighten my screws tight enough. I was thinking that one of my motors just came off in mid-flight because of the screws vibrating out. But after watching the FPV footage, I saw that that wasn't the case. It was just the low battery flashing on the screen was land now, and then I just totally lost power, and it came down. It actually came down this way. It didn't flip or do a flip of death or brown out or anything like that. It just came down this way, and it hit pretty hard though, and one of the motors came off. All of the screws popped out and the motor just flew off after the impact. But you shouldn't have to do anything to get these things to fly. It should have came soft mounted already if that was an issue. Clearly, they don't have any pilots there or anybody there checking them out to make sure that they fly or anything like that, or tuning them out. So, just a bad idea to get one of these unless you feel like going through trying to soft mount the motors or get these things to fly. It may not work for you, as evident that once I had that crash, now it doesn't matter if it's soft mounted or not. It still sputters around now. I'm guessing that something in here is touching now, or something isn't right. Something is touching against the flight controller, and the flight controller is very sensitive to vibration, and so now it sputters around again, doesn't fly smooth. I'm pretty sure that if I removed all the components and went through the same process, I can probably get it, whatever it was that was touching, I can get it to not fly so sporadic and all and sputter around and everything. But you shouldn't really have to go through this. So I'm deciding that I'm going to take all the components off of here and put it on another frame. This thing's going to the chop shop. The SPC Maker 90NG, very nice components, but nobody tested this thing, and so it doesn't fly out of box. So let's go check out the flight footage that I have of it. Find placement for the wires. So my SPC Maker 90GN actually flies after soft mounting the motors. Sounds like it can use some tuning though. Let's see if I can FPV it. Oh, it's bad. The breakup is bad. I don't know what's causing that. Could be the wrong channel. Let's see. It's not flying horrible though. It's weird that I was able to get this thing flying like this. This is 2S still. I think we're on the wrong channel with it. If I can get the channel right. so this thing actually flies. I'll do some pit tuning. See if I can get it flying nice. This is one of those really weak 30C batteries. Man, it's cold and windy out here too. Oops, I hit this arm by mistake. My finger hit it. But I'm gonna try to tune it. I'm gonna try to tune it and come back out with it. So I'm back out here with it with the stock battery. So 3S power. Really nice punch on it, I can say that. With some tuning, this should be a nice flyer. So all I did was, I did a little tuning, but the deciding factor, I think, the most important thing that I did was soft mount the motors. And that seemed to have made a big difference with it. It's flying pretty nice. I just need to do some pid tuning with it. Let's see if I can do some FPV with it. See what it looks like. FPV feed is locked in now, the channel. Pretty windy out here. Trying to blow me towards the trees over there. Wow, so it flies nice. See if how it handles this turn here. I must say I'm quite surprised, being that everybody has been having a big problem with this one. I had a problem at first. It was bouncing around and stuff just like everybody else's. And I just soft mounted the motors. Well, you really shouldn't have to do that, but that's all I had to do, and give it a nice tune. Oh, and we lost reception or something. Oh, we have, wow, so the motor screws just came out. So my soft mounting failed. That's what happened. Check it out.